You're going to learn exactly how and why your mind, brain, and body work together to produce the symptoms that you experience as illness. By the end of this video, you'll know the real reason you get sick, which has everything to do with your own biocomputer. And you're going to learn how that biocomputer works. And you're going to learn how to get better. Let's jump right in, shall we? The real reason you get sick is conflict. Here you are, a spiritual consciousness having a physical human experience, going on adventures, walking your own road, making physical stuff pop into the quantum field, whatever the heck it is those physicists are saying happens. Basically, you are not a physical machine out of which consciousness arises, like the old paradigm says. You are a consciousness that is temporarily focusing itself in a physical form called a body. What is consciousness? It's everything that you're aware of. When you do something consciously, it means you are fully aware of what you are choosing to do. The new physics, health, and cultural paradigm says that you have this awareness and choice, and that you're deliberately going on adventures, choosing your destination, doing your thing, and then whammo! Something happens that gets in your way. You were telling yourself a story about how you wanted your life to be, and then some crappy thing happened that didn't fit your story. And at some deep, unconscious level, you decided, this cannot be. This is not okay. What does unconscious mean? It's all the many, many, many things that are happening in your brain which you are not aware of, such as your bone marrow making new blood cells, such as your hair growing, such as deep, illogical beliefs from childhood. Your giant brain computer, which takes everything completely literally, instantly responds to what's going on in your unconscious. Your brain starts a program, and that program in your brain, which is also unconscious, will result in a physical change somewhere in your body because your brain is a biocomputer, and your body is the hardware, and your unconscious is the software. You, the being that is aware and conscious, are the user. This is really what happens. If I say something shocking to you and you take in a deep breath, were you consciously taking in that deep breath? Think about this for a second. Are you feeling angry? Are you feeling curious? Are my words creating any emotional response in you, negative or positive? Now, when you have any kind of emotion, positive or negative, that's a biological response. Your brain is influencing your hormones, which is giving you a certain physical sensation. How could my words do that? They don't. My words go into your computer through your ears, and your personal beliefs, your personal preferences, your understanding of what the truth actually is, that is what creates your emotional response. It works just like a computer, only your brain and body and mind would make the biggest supercomputer on the planet look like a toy. Here's how your biocomputer works. It works the same way as a regular computer. And here's how a regular computer works. Its job is to process information, which gets into the computer through various input devices, through the user interface. The user interface files the data, and those files are matched up with programs or apps that know what to do with the information. Your programs and apps have to be run by something, which is your computer's operating system. Mac OS, for example, or Windows, or Ubuntu, or whatever. The computer's operating system speaks in a machine language that all operating systems use, which is right in the central processing unit. I'm a computer, says the CPU. I compute things. That is my nature. The data are put into this multi-layered information processing system, and then the system produces output, such as sounds or pictures. Your computer or smartphone or iPad doesn't care what that information is either. Some of the output from your computer goes back into the computer as more data, which makes more programs run, and this is called a feedback loop, and that's exactly how all complex systems work. Your biocomputer works exactly the same way. It has software and hardware, and it processes information, and it does not care what that information is. Data come into your biocomputer via your 5 senses. Your user interface is your conscious awareness, which is the only part of the biocomputer over which you have control, just like the regular computer. Beneath your conscious awareness are your thoughts and beliefs, which are the files that you put incoming data into. Your thoughts and feelings feed into your programs, which are your stories of what you like and don't like. This is where you experience conflict when something happens in your life that gets in your way. Your biocomputer will adjust your anatomy and behavior to try to make things the way you want. Your core operating system is your sense of what kind of person you are. This profoundly affects what makes you sick or not, because it profoundly affects what for you constitutes a conflict experience. Your central sense of self is your concept of being you, instead of, say, a non-local energetic pattern in the fabric of space-time, which is possibly what the quantum physicists would call you. Remember, all of your files, programs, and apps, operating system, and central processing are unconscious. This is key information. If you can somehow make these things conscious instead of unconscious, then you can influence what happens in your brain. You can rewrite, debug, or remove your programs and apps altogether, which is very important because biological processes, thoughts, emotions, and your symptoms and behavior are the output of your biocomputer's programs and applications. What happens in your anatomy and behavior are what your brain and body do as a result of what happens in your information processing system. Let's take a closer look at the programs that are running your body and your life. I like to think of the structure of the unconscious mind as being like a tree. Beginning at conception with the seed idea of being your unique self in a totally physical universe. Next, you develop a state of being, an idea of what kind of existence you are, and you start to make judgments about good and bad, wanted and unwanted. This level of your mind begins to form way before you're born, as soon as you have cranial nerves and a little beating heart, and it sets you up for conflict. This is why unborn babies get health symptoms. The thoughts you think, the beliefs you hold, and the concepts you carry result from these deeper structures of your mind, not from the experiences you're having. Your experiences just provide the data for your programs, and then there's your conscious awareness, your interface with the world. This is like the leaves on the tree. Your conscious awareness soaks in the sunlight and feeds the twigs and branches and the trunk of the tree, continually shifting and changing. Your conscious awareness is your point of power for hacking your biocomputer in order to make yourself feel better, which is what I'm going to tell you how to do now. Conventional medical treatment comes in right up here, at the level of your conscious awareness. The majority of treatments work, if they work, by either removing data or interfering with your awareness of the data. But often these treatments don't work very well or for very long because they just put your awareness on something else, which can lead to new conflicts. The next approach is to make you unable to be conscious by cutting off your sensory apparatus through surgery or other serious anatomical intervention. Even then, your programs will still continue to run, producing pain and itching in limbs that aren't there any longer, for example. Think about it. If you turn your printer off, does your computer stop trying to run a print program when you tell it to? The best conventional treatments recognize that your ability to control your awareness is the point of power. These approaches include meditation, biofeedback programs, and cognitive behavioral therapy. Some psychoactive drugs, such as anti-anxiety and antidepressant therapies, appear to work at the emotional level, making you calm when you're freaking out, or making you sit down and have a cookie when you really want to choke someone to death. In fact, these drugs are just sedating you and effectively making you less aware of both what's going on around you and your emotional responses to it. Real healing focuses on the healthy you and brings your awareness to your inner experience, thoughts, emotions, body sensations. What exactly is going on with you? And what happened before that? And when did that start? Your biological programs are being fed by your state of being, the role you're playing. When you become empowered to see that you are carrying out a plan for yourself, telling a story, astonishing changes in your anatomy can take place. You stop being a victim when you begin to wake up to who you really are, realize that you are the programmer, and as the programmer, your point of access to your biocomputer is your conscious awareness. So it turns out that the real way to heal is to expand your consciousness. Maybe the hippies had it right. Unfortunately for most of us, the first few attempts at expanding consciousness look something like this. I'm going to pay more attention. I'm going to work harder and be a better person. I'm going to stop smoking and start jogging every day, and I'm going to think positive. And what happens is that we end up getting a lot more sensory information coming in. And if the programs stay the same, you're just going to get more output. So right when you're totally exhausted from being all positive and everything, you get more problems. Vowing to overcome your problems by being a better person in all ways is not expanding consciousness. It's just willpower, and it doesn't work. Expanding consciousness means expanding your conscious awareness inward. Become aware of your thoughts. Become aware of your emotions and body sensations. Become aware of the story you're telling about what kind of person you are. Become aware of the one that's being aware. This takes time and discipline, but it works. It's easier if you shut off the damn news, stop having tea with your neighbor who complains incessantly, and take a break from the drama on your Facebook page. With less sensory input, your awareness is freed up for looking within and seeing how you've been beating the crap out of yourself, and you'll naturally do less of that. You'll feel calmer, more peaceful, happier even. Let this be a positive feedback, a reminder to you to reduce the drama in your life even more. If you want to become the master of your life, respect the fact that what's outside is a reflection of what's inside. Be gentle with yourself. We've all been caught in the mass hypnosis of being separate from our healthy, perfect bodies. It's just a big illusion. All power is in you. Not some of the time, or in some cases, all of the time, without exception. Life doesn't happen to you. It happens through you. If the world outside seems scary, it's because you're living from a state of, the world is out to get me, or it's not safe. If you feel abandoned, you've got a deep place in your psyche dedicated to being the unwanted one. If your relationships are full of conflict, your relationship to parts of your own self are in a war. Our entire surrounding ecosystem is a reflection of the ecology within our human consciousness. That's why we'll never be able to break the laws of nature, because they're not happening outside us. They are us. The solution to health problems is to resolve your conflicts. Trust your body, understand your biocomputer, and remember who you really are. Now, the MindTree Health process helps you get right in there and alter these programs that are making you sick. How do you do that? By reading your biocomputer's output accurately to see what's going on inside your own system. Simple, right? Okay, maybe it doesn't seem that way right now, so that's what you're going to begin learning in the next video of this series. Until then, be well and have a great day. I'm Lishwi Springford. Thank you for joining me.